people have two reactions to my dolls. Either they are obsessed and in love with them because it looks like a real baby, or they're like, whoa, that's a little creepy. That looks too realistic, right? So a lot of that is actually from an idea form called uncanny valley, where basically you just kind of have a fear of something that really does look too realistic. I even have some people who've come over to see my babies, and they're like, oh wow, that is cool, but I don't want to hold it, I don't want to touch it. And that's perfectly okay. These dolls are not for everybody, but the art can be appreciated.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of I Have Something to Say, where subject matter experts are unafraid and unapologetic about sharing their perspectives regarding issues that impact our lives. They speak up because basically they give a shit. So if you're tired of canned answers and want to finally hear real people cut through the BS and talk about real issues, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Sami Jimen Marrero from Urbander, and behind our mixer is our producer, Chris Majoka from UdoU. Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of I Have Something to Say. I'm just delighted to introduce you to an artist entrepreneur that I met at an event recently, and I was just completely gaga over her artistry and the product that she's selling. And so I want to welcome founder and CEO of Reborn Nursery Next Door, Miss Jade Collins. Welcome, Jade. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Sammy, for having me on the show. I'm so excited to be here.
It's so great because we met very casually at a recent event, which actually was a fabulous event. It was so good, right? It was the Greater Haitian American Chamber of Commerce's summit, and kudos to Marlene Bonzil Juice and the entire team for putting on a full day of just amazing speakers. And you were there as a vendor. And I was like, okay, so what is it? Because I didn't realize what it was, because it was just so real looking, right? And we're gonna get into it. And so you are a reborn artist. Can you tell us what that is?
So I'm a reborn artist, which means I create hyper realistic dolls that look and feel like a real baby. So I'm really, really passionate about my work. I love making these little babies for people. I get so excited to do it. So I actually want to show you. I have with me, this is little Lavender, and I made her. So she has rooted hair and eyelashes and all the good details. Her head's floppy just like a real baby. So you have to protect her head and neck just like you would with a real baby. And she is a sweetheart. They're weighted. So when you feel them, you're just going to be like, oh my goodness. Now, some people do tend to feel a little strange about them, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. Oh my. Well, and I didn't, right? Clearly, I did not. I almost lost my mind because you had a baby Jade, which you told me that you made for your mom, right?
I sure did. Her name was Sage. I made Sage.
Sage. Yes, but you made her for your mom, and I couldn't believe it. I was like celebrating your new baby, and you're just like smiling at me, like, lady, you don't even know what's about to happen, right? When you told me,
exactly. It's so funny. I love that reaction. I love seeing people like, oh, that's a real baby. I'm like, yeah, I love that.
But I just had to hold her. That's the thing. It just filled, my kids are teenagers now. They're like, they're like, And so to me, it felt like a baby. It looked like a brand new baby. She even smelled like a new baby. I don't know what you do, but it was just awesome. And the artistry is just amazing. So how did you get into this line of work and to manifest, right, your creativity in such a unique way?
Oh, thank you so much. So basically, years ago, about 2016, I discovered Reborn dolls on the internet, but it was like this secret world, and I didn't know how to access them. I didn't know how to get to them. And then moving on forward, I actually dealt with a lot of scammers trying to get a reborn baby, and they would arrive, would look nothing like the picture, felt nothing like the baby. They were terrible. But then I finally met a lady on Instagram, and her baby, she was able to show me pictures. She had proof, and I started collecting for the first time my real reborn doll. And not long after that, Instagram continues to show things all the time that are similar. And I saw a masterclass for making reborn dolls. And I was thinking, oh, wow, I'll finally get to learn how to make these babies. But actually, the masterclass didn't show much about making those babies. However, it did inspire me to want to learn how. So I spent months and months researching the supplies and everything involved and how you make one and what I would need. And then I saved up the money and I got everything started. I got my paint. I made a little office in my garage, my reborn studio, and I got it started. And I've now been making babies successfully since the beginning of 2023.
That is fantastic. I mean, so did you have an creative streak? You must have had a creative streak before
Yes.
then.
I've been so I sketch and I always used to love to paint since elementary school. My first painting was like a picture of a parrot and it turned out okay. And we're like, hey, you might have something here. So yeah, having a background of art definitely helped. I love art, and even my oldest daughter, she's an artist as well. So mhm.
That's fantastic. And so I'm just fascinated by the whole thing because the attention to detail is
Yeah.
huge. I mean, it's just incredible. And so how long does it take first? So it took you what? How long to get to this point where you're clearly mastering this art form?
Thank you so much. So yeah, it took months. Because first you don't even know like how are they doing that? How are they making the eyelids look real? And then slowly, I still learn more and more every day about how to make details more and more realistic. So it took definitely months. And my first baby was decent because I do art, but now I'm learning better things like how to create little milk bumps on the nose and the milk blister on the lips and the needle prick on the foot as if the baby just got a shot in the hospital. So all
Yeah.
those details definitely is what make a really grand baby and a good finish at the end.
And what initially drew you to be interested in, like, what propelled you to start looking into reborn artists and reborn babies?
So basically, I have six babies of my
I
own.
know. I know.
Yes, I have six babies, and I just, oh goodness, there. So sorry about that. So yeah, I just basically I love babies naturally. That they were
Mm,
probably my first real passion before making
mm,
dolls. And
mm,
so for me, it's all about freezing those moments in time, and
mm.
that's what I always love when I have my kids. Is those first few newborn moments. So that's already something that I love. And then being a reborn artist, you get to put three of my favorite things all into one, which is babies, and then I get to paint and I get to be in my own little world painting and photography. Once you make the babies, of course, for them to be able to sell or for mommies to fall in love with them, you have to get shots of them looking as realistic and posable as possible.
Wow. So then it's like this layered approach. I mean, so then you
Yeah,
have all of these skill sets that you're bringing into the fold to really elevate, right? Your
right.
offering. I think it's fantastic. Jade, I was like, oh my goodness, it was incredible. And then when you told me that you have six children of your own,
Mhm.
ranging from 2 year old to 12 year olds, I'm like, how in the world do you even find time, right? But it must be relaxing for you.
It is. So yeah, that's one thing for me that it does do. When I go to my little reborn studio, I put in my music in my headphones and I'm just enjoying myself. And it's a peaceful time because through my day, of course, my babies are constantly around me. But when they go down for a nap, or sometimes if they're playing with their older brothers and sisters, I have a few hours. I can take breaks since I work from home, which is great. I
Mhm.
also homeschool from home. So and I
Oh
love
my
spending time
goodness.
with my babies and I love doing my art and I get the time. Thank goodness, that I have the time and to be a work from home mom and be able to create my art.
Oh my goodness, you are like a super mom. I'm just like blown away because I don't know. I honestly don't know how you do it, but I'm glad you do. We were talking. It was funny because when I was holding the baby, a colleague, Gigi, right? Gigi Moorman came over and she's like, "Oh, who's the baby?" Whatever. And then when we showed her, she
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, wait!" Like
Right.
she approached with caution, right? And so, do you
Yes.
get that kind of reaction often, or does it take some people a little bit of time to warm up to the idea that this is like it looks like a baby, but it's not?
Right. That's a great question, actually, Sammy. So, a lot of people have two reactions to my dolls. Either they are obsessed and in love with them because it looks like a real baby, or they're like, whoa, that's a little creepy. That looks too realistic, right? So, a lot of that is actually from an idea form called Uncanny Valley, where basically you just kind of have a fear of something that really does look too realistic. I even have some people who've come over to see my babies, and they're like, oh wow, that is cool, but I don't want to hold it, I don't want to touch it. And that's perfectly okay. These dolls are not for everybody, but the art can be appreciated by many. Most people I meet, they have positive reactions to the dolls, thank goodness. But there are that few that have to warm up to the idea, or even people like my own husband. He's at first he's like, why are we getting this? And I'm like, feel this baby, hold it. And he's like, that feels kind of real. And then later he's like, they're kind of cute. But so he may never be a reborn collector, but sometimes it does take people time to warm up to the idea, and that's perfectly okay.
But so there's collectors, and I totally get it because I think I'd be that person, right? And I already told you, I'm gonna treat myself to
Yeah,
reborn baby for the holidays. So,
you
which
have
is
to.
coming up. But yes, I'm so excited. So I want a custom order. I'm so
I'm so
excited.
excited. Yeah.
But but there are other functionalities too, right? So this is not just an art form that it's for collectors. For many people, it also is a source of comfort
Yeah.
in during really difficult times. Could you talk to me a little bit about that? Because when you were explaining this to me, it made all the sense of the world.
Yes. No, you're so right, Sammy. So a lot for these babies, they offer comfort and therapeutic benefits to people. So many. So that's why with people who are in nursing homes, people who suffer with memory issues, with Alzheimer's, dementia, the comfort that these babies bring, it's golden to their healing. And then in addition to that, we have people who are postpartum trauma parents. They lost a child, or and they have something called empty arm syndrome, where just missing that weight of a baby in their arms is really painful for them. And then there's also even empty nest syndrome, which is less serious, of course, where you just have kids that have moved out and moved on, and you miss having noise and a baby in the house, and it's really enjoyable for them. So also, a lot of people with like bedridden illnesses, cancer patients constantly enjoy these babies because they can't oftentimes go anywhere, and they're struggling to heal. But it's nice to just not be alone, and they have someone kind of there with them, or it can feel that way. And a lot of
Yeah.
these babies, they feel so cuddly, so it's just nice to just kind of sit there with them. So actually, recently I started something called the Healing Hearts campaign. Actually, if you check out my website, it's actually on there. So that's where I'm going to be trying to reach deeper into the community and offer low cost dolls to people who are in the nursing homes. I'm going to be working with some local Central Florida nursing facilities to offer them low cost dolls, as well as the postpartum trauma patients who have been found in a lot of trauma groups after the loss of their child. And anyone who has an illness can reach out to me, and I can hopefully get you a low cost doll, because these dolls can be expensive. Most of them
Yeah.
are from $1,000 to $7,000,
Wow.
depending on the art and if you chose a vinyl doll or a silicone doll. Silicone is very expensive. Mhm.
Wow. Wow. But
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so how's it going? How's it going since the launch of the business?
So far, so good. Of course, everything happens slowly, but everything's been really good. And I'm really excited, like you said, for the holidays. Christmas babies for a lot of people is a big thing. But even when it's not holidays, I just had a mom the other day, just received one of my babies. And I just love hearing, they're like, oh, I love this baby and this eyes and the cuddliness. Like, I can't stop picking this baby up. And I just love hearing that. I'm like, I'm so happy, and I love putting together baby showers. So we do that for the babies as well. It's my favorite thing, and you get to package little gifts and onesies and toys and bottles. I make reborn bottles where the milk won't come out, and magnetic pacifiers for the dolls, and it's just so much fun getting to see like that reborn mommy or collector or whomever it is really enjoy that baby.
Yes, and I could see how in nursing homes, right? Or people that are lonely, or even like you mentioned before, cancer patients, many of them cannot be exposed to other people because their immune systems
Exactly.
are, it can be compromised. And so being able, and they have to sit sometimes many hours to get their
Yeah.
treatments, right? So to
Yes,
be
ma'am.
able to have, I could totally see it's comforting. Well, I held Sage for what, 10, 15 minutes. And
Yes.
then, then I had other people say, come on, pass the baby along,
Right.
so
Right.
it's like, it was
Right.
just such a very unique,
Yeah.
unexpected, and very rewarding experience,
Thank
as a mom of teenagers, right? Who, I mean, they're affectionate and stuff like that, but there's nothing like that newborn
you.
baby when they first come in, right? And it took
Yes.
me back because I was able, it was like, oh my goodness, I remember, it was so cool, yeah, my daughter says she's not having babies, so I'm like, okay, so then this
Right.
is a good alternative at this point,
Right.
right? Because
Exactly. And it'll be the most well-behaved baby you ever had. Get to sleep through the night, all that good stuff.
Exactly. Well, I'm
Mhm.
I'm just so excited to have met you. I'm supporting artist entrepreneurs
Yeah.
because I strongly believe that this concept of the starving artist
Right.
is should never be, right? I feel like people who are born creatives
Yes.
should be able to live right off their creativity because that's what they were born to do, right? And so
Yes.
then, yeah, and that's you, right? And so then I'm excited that you found your
Yeah.
thing, right, in the midst of
Yes.
raising your children, homeschooling them. I'm like, how do you have the energy? And then look how gorgeous you look,
Oh,
very well
thank
put together.
you.
I'd be like, my hair'd be like, I could barely make it onto
You're so,
these recordings, and you're so well put together. I'd be
oh, thank you so much. Oh, yeah, no, that means to me.
Yeah, so this is really inspiring, and sometimes people also think about entrepreneurship and don't realize everything that goes into it, right? You put
Yes.
in, you did your research and development, you consulted with a mentor. It's like you're pacing yourself in a way that makes it comfortable, right, for you to really not to step into this fully and without any kind of hesitation, I assume, right?
Yes, ma'am. Because you really do have to make a brave step. Because some people are afraid to show their art. They're afraid that people won't like it. It's too different. It's too strange with the stigma that can be attached to it. But it doesn't bother me at all. I take my babies out. I take them to Disney World, theme parks, and people usually love them. It's exciting for me. I'm truly passionate about it, and I really hope other people can find that same joy when they adopt a little baby. They're so
That's
cute.
awesome. I love that you're already looking into a strategy, right, to really figure out, right, who your target audiences are, and that you're so mindful of providing access, right, equitable access to the people that might need them the most,
Right.
so that way they could benefit from its soothing effect. I mean, because
Yeah.
yeah, and I can say I experienced it firsthand, so I know. The other thing that I love is that your babies are like very diverse also, so mhm.
Yes. No, so true. I definitely love to make all types of skin tones. I want anybody who has a baby, if they're like, "Hey, I want a custom baby to look like me," or a baby that you biologically, excuse me, cannot have. Like I have one baby that on my YouTube channel, people seem to really love him. He was my first albino baby in my collection, and
Mm-hmm.
I just love him to death. I love a unique baby, and babies for everyone. They even have Down syndrome babies. They even have a baby with dwarfism. So we love to celebrate any type of baby or ethnicity.
Yes, this is fantastic. Well, listen, I'm excited to have met you. I'm already thinking about, well, my two babies looked exactly the same when they were born. They had that porcupine, really thick, dark hair, right?
So cute.
And so they're both
Oh
exactly the
my.
same. Exact. One was a boy, one was a girl. That's the only, they. And so, but just look at the baby pictures when they were born at the hospital, exactly the
Oh,
same kid, right? So
I
so I
love
think I'm
that.
gonna get a yeah, I think I'm gonna get a little like baby with the porcupine black hair, and yeah, and
So
so
cute.
that'll be
Yeah.
really really cute. So I'm excited to have met you, Jade. I really want to stay in touch and see how things are going with you, because it's always great to meet someone that's so passionate and excited about their craft and about entrepreneurship,
Yes.
when they're first starting. And I just have a funny feeling that this business is going to soar.
Oh, thank
Everyone,
you.
and I'll tell you why. I think that with automation and AI,
Mhm, mhm.
people are a lot of people are talking about, oh, I can do design work, or I could do copywriting, or I can do videos, or I could do all of that. And my daughter loves to draw, and I always tell her, you need to keep on drawing and doing things with your hands, because
Mhm.
I predict that your art, for example, Jade, right, in just a few years is going to be even sought after more,
Um,
because art that's done by a human being is going to
right.
be a high commodity, right? Think about it. If machines can do stuff, then where's the uniqueness of that, right?
Exactly.
And so yeah,
Exactly.
so it's really exciting. Can I see the baby again
Of
before we
course
leave?
you
Yeah.
can. Let me get little lavender.
Oh my
This
goodness. I just
guy.
can't take it. It's so real. The baby's so real. She's so cute. Okay,
Thank
everybody watching, don't this is a no judgment zone, people.
yes.
Okay?
It's a safe
Sami is
space.
losing her mind, and she is so cute. What a cute baby. So,
Cute.
yeah. This is fantastic. Very unique. You are extremely talented, and you're like a goddess. I mean, you're raising six kids, running a business,
You're too
homeschooling.
kind.
No puedo. I can't take it. You're like extreme mom,
Oh,
okay?
thank you, Sammy. You're really making my night. You have no idea. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's really, really powerful. Thank you so much for what you're doing, and we'll definitely stay in touch, okay?
Thank you so much for giving me a voice, Sammy. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And what's your website? What's the name of your website?
So you can reach out to me at the Reborn Mom Next Door on Instagram, and it'll link you to my website, my YouTubes, and any pictures you want to see of me and these babies.
Okay, good. I'm gonna start stalking you. Okay.
Oh no, of course, stop me.
Okay. Have a good night, Jade.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of I Have Something to Say, where subject matter experts are unafraid and unapologetic about sharing their perspectives regarding issues that impact our lives. They speak up because basically they give a shit. So if you're tired of canned answers and want to finally hear real people cut through the BS and talk about real issues, this is the podcast for you. I'm your host, Sami Marrero from Urbander, and behind our mixer is our producer, Chris Majoka from UdoU.